For 15 minutes, the one against Nottingham Forest, who lose for the first time away from home. Manchester United, they play tomorrow. We're on to the goals and an extra supply on Goals Extra today. Now, Port Vale have been finding victories hard to come by. Their last one prior to today came in the middle of September. And Southend hadn't lost for a similar period of time. So what an excellent result it was. Alistair Mann.
A thoroughly entertaining game, the pattern set after just 5 minutes. John Jeffers down the left-hand side, Joe Allen teeing up Robin van der Laan, and his deflected shot finding the corner, the perfect opening. It all continued from left to right. Vale, one after the other, they came with chances. Joe Allen maybe ought to have scored from here, certainly had a lot of time, maybe too much. Paul Sansom made the save. Then another lovely little triangle of passes. Ray Walker sent tumbling in the box by Phil Gridlett. Referee on hand said it was a penalty, that the offence took place in the area. Maybe a little harsh, perhaps just a little bit too much leaning by the defender. Allen's penalty, though, was saved by Sansom, and that, perhaps, they thought was the best chance gone to double the advantage. Not so. Just a few moments later, and Jeffers again down the left-hand side, first sending Ronnie Whelan, of all people, on a merry dance. Van der Laan's crashing effort fizzing over the bar. But that second goal did soon arrive. Jeffers once again involved, a lovely through ball, and this time Allen got everything right. The run timed to perfection, the finish guided into the corner, and here's probably the best celebration I've seen this season. Wait for it. Right on, cowboy. Who's your partner now? Second half, the pattern continued. Martin Foyle getting his name on the score sheet. He'd be disappointed if he wouldn't have done. And he very nearly added a second for himself and Vale's fourth. The only man with any credit for Southend this afternoon, Sansom, with another save. But he could do nothing to stop the fourth when it finally arrived. Allen taking a swing and missing. Walker tumbling to the ground, but just having enough energy to slot the ball into the corner. They hadn't finished. Number 5 on its way. And Andy Porter was the last man to score. Southend praying for the final whistle. Were glad that nobody had time to add another.
Well, the Bolton manager, Bruce Rioch, has had to dig deeper into his cosmopolitan squad in recent weeks. They've moved up to 5th, 2 places ahead of Charlton, prior to today's match at the new Vale. Rob Palmer on an excellent Bolton win.
The wings of the Valley were largely unused by Bolton. Bruce Rioch's plan was to attack Charlton's soft centre, and it worked sweetly. Alan Thompson firing a warning shot. But there was no stopping Richard Snakers on a similar centre-of-the-field move. Little Dutchman ran and lit the torch paper of a firework. Snakers is earning a rare reputation for his shooting. He's got the venom of his fellow countryman Koeman. No wonder he jumped for joy. Bolton almost went 2 up through Patterson. Another direct down-the-middle move. Patterson hitting the post, hitting the goalkeeper, who knew little about it. What turned out to be the winner was another Snakers long-distance goal. Maybe his reputation went before him. Bolton are now 9 games unbeaten in the league. Steve Brown scored a consolation for Charlton in the 88th minute.
That's right, very much on a roll, Bolton. Barnsley beating Stoke City 2-0, Stoke after 4 successive draws, and Burnley drawing no goals at Reading. Not a bad result, though. Well, the top 2 both lost, so that's great encouragement for Tranmere and Bolton's aspirations. Tranmere, well, they're away to Oldham tomorrow, and you can see it on the Granada match live. Well, Division 2 showpiece today was at Edgeley Park. Stockport, who slipped up at Chester on Wednesday against second-place Oxford, the only other club to step on a banana skin, so to speak, at the Diva Stadium this season. Rob Palmer again.
Stockport without Kevin Francis, it's like Jack and the Beanstalk without the Giants. Minus the big man, they struggle to score goals. Whilst at the opposite end of the field, they're prone to conceding. When Mr. Rennie, the referee, awarded an 8th-minute penalty, county fans were complaining. But on a slow-motion reflection, Mike Wallace's hand connected with the ball. And as a result, Paul Moody converted a penalty, which took him to 16 goals for the season. The second division's leading scorer, Moody, always kept County on their toes, powerful, determined, and with a good, strong shot. Stockport's willingness maybe deserved a goal, but the Oxford keeper, Phil Whitehead's first save, was right on the break of half-time for his Beaumont's fancy flick. The trouble is, Stockport's game is geared towards the attributes of Francis, the tall guy. And when he doesn't play, they deliver the same size crosses for the shorter Alan Armstrong. Oxford's team play was more accurate, and so was their shooting. Stuart Massey's volley was typical. While Stockport scrapped for half chances and had a few, full-back Sean Connolly lacked confidence when in the shooting position, and found no predator on hand. Stockport ventured a lot, but never gained. They had the chances, but really never looked like scoring a goal. Oxford's second goal was on the cards. It was only a matter of mean Paul Moody getting the ball at his feet. He's a player who seems to know where the goal is. A magnificent 17th goal of the season. Quite simply, Stockport couldn't score. Alan Armstrong brought both of the game saves from Whitehead, but Stockport now have lost 2 of the last 3 matches.
Not very popular in these parts, Oxford. They accounted for Blackpool on Tuesday, but an excellent opportunity for the Seasiders to resume normal service today at home to Leighton Orient, who have a consistent away record. They haven't won yet. Jim Beglin.
Blackpool hammered 4 past Leighton Orient on the final day of last season, and Tony Ellis's left foot shot was a whisker away from giving them another great start today. Within 2 minutes though, Orient came even closer, Terry Howard's free kick rocking the Seasiders' crossbar. Then in the 35th minute, the home side got the goal they deserved. Brian Griffiths with the clever through ball, and Tony Ellis doesn't miss those. It was all too easy for Blackpool's ace marksman. But in first half injury time, Dempsey's left wing cross was dummied by Pearce for Colin West to level the score at the break. Shortly after the restart, and Griffiths should have added another. In oceans of space from Horner's free kick, only to delay a second too long for Heel to make the save, and Orient managed to scramble clear. Back the visitors came again, Ian Bogie doing well to create space for Darren Pearce, but his shot wasn't strong enough to seriously trouble Lee Martin. Blackpool's winner came courtesy of Neil Mitchell's persistence. If at first you don't succeed, try again. His second cross pinpointed for Andy Watson's glancing header. Watson had a relatively quiet afternoon, but he produced a class when it was needed most. By now, Blackpool were in total control, and Tony Ellis's cheeky chip came closest to extending the advantage. It finished 2-1.
6 goals in 5 games for Andy Watson. Well, 2 other games to catch up on in the second. Crewe, who've been leaking goals at an alarming rate, an average of 5 over the previous 3 games. They were at home to Swansea. John Parry.
Crewe's recent disastrous run continued at home to Swansea. They went down 2-1. Jason Bowen's goals just before half and full time doing all the damage. This was the first, a close range effort. Sean Smith's penalty had equalised for Crewe, but it wasn't enough. 2-1 to Swansea.
Chester going down again after the euphoria of beating Stockport in midweek, and a magnificent performance by Wrexham, including a Gary Bennett hat-trick against Wycombe, who were third. Well, Huddersfield retained the lead despite losing. Oxford, Birmingham, Hull and Blackpool all winners in the leading group. Right, an absolute dead cert coming up. The third division leaders Bury at home to Scarborough, who are next to bottom. 5 wins on the run now for Bury. Alistair Mann.
Not the greatest performance of the season perhaps, but the all-important 3 points for Bury. Mind you, the league leaders had their number 1 to thank, Gary Kelly, a great save from Rodney Rowe in the first minute. They thought they had the lead through Kevin Hume, ruled out for a shove on the keeper. But early in the second half, that lead did arrive, and it turned out to be the only goal of the game. Kevin Hume, patient, looking up, finding the right option. Lenny Johnrose on the near post. The advantage nearly doubled. Kevin Hume at the heart of things again. Roger Stanislaus' effort blocked. Eventually it reaches Hume, but he just whacked it over the bar. Hands on heads maybe, but 3 points was the all-important thing.
For the leaders, in second place, Carlisle making Rochdale suffer again defensively. Wigan winning away from home for only the 2nd time this season, and Preston ending a disastrous run. It would have been their 8th successive defeat had they lost today, so some relief for their manager John Beck. Well, there we go. Bury lead the way, just a point from Carlisle. In fact, the top 4 all won. Right, we'll be back tomorrow. Division 1 action, the Granada match live, Oldham against Tranmere Rovers. Bye-bye.